Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review for Halloween month. And this time, not reviewing a horror film, but more of a mystery film. Because, like mystery films like Sherlock Holmes and all that stuff, though. But this is not Sherlock Holmes, though. It's a mystery comedy that stars Don Knotts, may rest in peace, and Tim Conway, which they've collabed together from the Apple Dumpling Gang. And this is a film that me and my dad like to watch. You know, like the mystery comedies like Clue and Murder by Death. Well, this is a mystery comedy that stars Don Knotts and Tim Conway from 1980 called The Private Eyes, and where they are detectives in this film, like a parody of, because Don Knotts is Inspector Winship, and Tim Conway is Dr. Tart, you know, with parodies of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. And I think it's got good reviews, because it has a 6.8 on IMDb. But the Private Eyes, I think the director, Lang Elliott, I think is the same, yes, this is looking up. It was the marks the final pairing of Conway and Knotts, not counting the cameos after Cannonball Run 2, huh? So I guess they work together. I get more. I think the Apple Dumpling Gang. I think, but it's a fun comedy. There are Don Knotts and Tim Conway. They still work well together, even from the Apple Dumpling Gang. It's a fun mystery comedy. Nice to watch. All the time, if you like, watching mystery stuff. Well, it opens up, with this rich guy, this rich couple, this old middle-aged rich couple, the Morleys, and this is in it's somewhere in England, because they're American detectives that were transferred to by the Scotland Yard, so it has to be in England. And the husband, Mr. Morley, he forgot to get some of his cigars, and he went back to the house to get some. And his wife is in the car, but then a mysterious figure comes behind and strangles her. And when the husband comes back, he gets knocked out unconscious, and while the mystery figure in a black robe and cape, black hood, starts a car and just lets the car drive right into the lake, and presumably they're all dead. Well, clearly the woman is dead, but this is the guy he was knocked unconscious while they drove into the lake. So so they are two guys, Dr. Winship, Dr. Tart, and Inspector Winship they're transferred to America because they've been they're incompetent or whatever, and because Tim Conway's Adventures, he has this gun that has a clock that it goes off every hour. It's like a Don Knotts, who needs a gun when it goes off every hour? Well, we may need it. We may need it. Yeah, if you gotta shoot somebody every hour. And then so they're on the way to investigate the murder. They spot by this gas station there's one old guy who's deaf, and funny where Tim Conway's trying to get this guy to talk louder so the guy can hear. It's like, Morley Manor. And as they leave, they set the gas station on fire. They didn't know they caused it. And Tim Conway's like, "Oh, gotta get the muffler fixed." So they arrive at the mansion, the Morley Manor, and they meet the staff. The butler is actually played by Bernard Fox. He was in the Mummy, the pilot Winston that Brendan Fraser liked. He died in the quicksand. He was in that. He has an appearance in Titanic and a couple other. I think I saw him in another film besides the Titanic and the Mummy. I think I might have, but him right there. He's the butler, and when they mention murder, he goes crazy. He proceeds to strangling Tim Conway. Tim Conway's like, and the maid just kind of hits him, hits him a couple times to stop that. So yeah, he goes and knows he hears the word murder. He's like, so they do a little poking around. Like for one instance where they like there's a place where the Mr. Morley has a place for his cigars. He goes in the door. There's a guard dog for guarding his cigars. They fly back into a secret passage. Don says, "I need a light." And a mystery hand hands Tim Conway a light, and he sees it. He's like, "Ah, yeah, man, hi." And then the mysterious figure like lights the match for him, and he's like, and they see like a mysterious figure, a dead skeleton of like Santa Claus has presents, and they fall like the mysterious figure like rolls a little bomb. They fall down the chimney where all the staff is at. And the lead woman, I guess I got that she was like the daughter of I think she was like the daughter of the Marleys. I know she's a heiress, but I think she's supposed to be the daughter of the Morleys. They have all the staff there. Like this Chinese guy who's like the cook. He's the cook, and then they have this busty maid, and there's the butler Bernard Fox, and the old maid, and this one guy who has his tongue cut out. He's like a hunchback. He's like talk like because he has no tongue. And this other old guy, and this other guy, is like the groundskeeper, I think. They're talking. They get trying. He questions each one. And so after they're just doing more poking around, more funny antics. Like there's also a habit with Tim Conway with these pigeons. Like one is like each one of are dead, or he grabs one, he takes one, it flies up, it like hits something, it falls down dead. He has a thing with these pigeons. And also more things like he mentions like this creature he thinks that Don Knotts doesn't think it exists called a Wookalar. It's a Wookalar. And then one by one, like first he questions like the cook questions the cook, the Asian guy, and he'll funny, and Adonis was like, "Where are you from?" He's like, "Ah, soul." And he's like, "What did you just call me?" And each one by one, the members of the staff are getting killed. Like they find the Chinese or the Asian guy dead, and each one they finds a note, and Tim Conner reads out loud. It's all in rhyme, but each one says there's gonna be less and less people. And then next is the groundskeeper, which they find him dead, like half buried with another note on a tombstone. And then the guy who had his tongue cut off, the hunchback guy, he slides down on this thing because he's talking with Don Knotts are talking, and Tim Conway were talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, more news," and he's trying to tell him they're standing in horse crap. Which that's one joke I could leave out. Have them literally standing in horse crap. That's one joke I can leave out because I don't think that wasn't funny. But they find that guy dead, and more investigation. Like but they find more secret passages. Like they're using one thing. You know how those picture paintings, like it has those with the eyes, where the eyes are. You look behind the wall and you can see. Put your eyes there to look. Make it see like the eyes are moving in the painting. Those type of gadgets. Well, it's not a gadget though, but it's like those hole in the walls where you can look through the walls, like through the picture paintings, through the eyes of the faces. They see our the lead woman changing her clothes. And at one point where they go to the mausoleum, and of course more staff are getting killed, like the maid, the busty maid, and then the other old maid, and then they find Bernard Fox like choked on an alarm clock, which Don Knotts goes to get the woman, and Tim Conway stays with him. But then the shadowy figure sees him, but then they find like they do like a switch. There's a switch in the wall where it rotates. And Don Knotts thinks Tim Conway's dead because he's in the same position like Bernard Fox was, and he's not. But he says, "Oh, you just got mad. What? I think I saw a Wookalar." And there's another note, and they find the other old maid dead like this, stiff. And well, he calls himself the Shadow as well. That's what it's the Shadow. Then one part they go to the torture chamber where Don Knotts trapped in a chair, which he's being pulled very slowly to a little death trap where it's like little chopping axes, but it's like this. But it's not that little death trap is like, yeah, it's pulling him so slow towards the axis. It's very easy for him to get out of. Well, for Tim Conway to help him, and the axes are going like this. It's not really gonna cut him in bloody fashion. It's not. And well, Tim Conway gets him out of it, and then they end up in a trash compactor. They survive in it, being crushed up in it. And the guy would tell the woman because the Shadow is probably thinks after her. And then we get a mysterious figure like getting all this money, putting it in a bag, and it's her. She's taking all the money for the Marleys, and she confesses that she killed the Marleys because she needed she needed to get the money to support her gambling habits. But they say that there is no Shadow, and we're just saying there is one. He's the one who's doing the killings, and then she trips behind, and for some reason she trips and falls backwards, and the Shadow grabs her, which she starts shooting at him multiple times, but he has some armor playing right here, which doesn't hurt him. And she just faints because she ran out of bullets. And another funny part where Don Knotts, he has the time gun. It's like, okay, hold it right there. And Tim Conway goes and pulls out a pigeon, hold it like a gun. But then she just faints because she ran out of bullets. And then it's actually Mr. Marley himself. He was alive because he explains that he planned this whole thing because he saw in the beginning when he was knocked unconscious, he didn't notice that it was her in the back when she knocked him out, but he swam to the surface when he regained consciousness, and he planned this whole convoluted charade to confess that she's the one who killed his wife. And the staff are alive. They are all part of the plan. They faked their own deaths. They are all part of Mr. Marley's plan, just to get a confession out of her. And she gets arrested, and Mr. Marley tells that she will inform the yard that you two did a good job with the case. And as an appreciation, they give them a reward. They give them this sarcophagus. I forget what place. But basically, it's over like 1,000 years old. And as they drive away in their car, Tim Conway still talk about Wookalars, and then they do exist. They have like these tusks and all that stuff. And lo and behold, comes out of the sarcophagus is a Wookalar, which is kind of funny that the Wookalar is like a half human, half pig basically. It has like a nose of a pig with a tusk, like a wild boar. But it's funny, you see like it's wearing like a regular shirt, a work shirt, and suspenders. If Mr. Marley said it was like 1,000 years old, they wouldn't have work shirts and suspenders for 1,000 years. So I can find when you see the Wookalar up close, decent makeup effect as well as the Wookalar, but you see like it's wearing like suspenders and like a work shirt, you know. And, yeah, it was 1,000 years old. I don't think it wouldn't be wearing that. And then Tim Conway's afraid as he's driving. He's like, because he sees a Wookalar is alive, and then he's like, "Oh, it's a Wookalar!" And then it ends with, and then the credits. They get the little tune, you know, I thought it was a little decent part of the music by Peter Matz. So yeah, it's a surprise. It's not worth going on a long review on this. It's a short little film. But The Private Eyes is a fun it's a fun little mystery comedy because stars the the good comedic duo of Tim Conway and Don Knotts. And Don Knotts may rest in peace. I miss the guy, funny guy. It's just from Three's, especially from Three's Company as Mr. Mr. Furley, Mr. Ralph Furley. I miss Don Knotts, and also from the Andy Griffin Show as well, and yeah, it's sad. It's sad to see he's no longer with us. I miss Don Knotts, but these two still they work well in a comedy together, and it's a fun little mystery film as well with comedy as well. Gene Siskel says at the bottom right here, a perfect Saturday matinee. Yeah, I would say that it's a fun little film to watch. So Tim Conway, Don Knotts, they do good. The supporting cast, they were fine. They were all right. Well, the staff weren't much though, but I could tolerate them. Well, Bernard Fox is the butler. I thought he was the most funny out of all of them when he was, attempting to strangle Don Knotts. His little critic, But the supporting the staff members, they were all right there though. But I could tolerate them. They're not the worst bland characters. They're as much worse though, but still. Trisha Noble was the lead woman. She was fine. She was fine. All right. But Don Knotts and Tim Conway, they're the stars of the film. So, but yeah, that's my little review of The Private Eyes. It's a fun mystery comedy, and like I said, the mystery comedy just like Clue and Murder by Death. But I do like those more than this one though. But it's still it's Don Knotts and Tim Conway together. So since the Apple Dumpling Gang. But yeah. But I still like the film. It's a fun, harmless little mystery comedy. Well, thanks for watching, and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.